Penn State, do they pose the biggest threat to upset Ohio State this year? Brandon Marcello of 24/7 Sports wrote an article about this. You know, I'm a big Penn State guy on this podcast, big Penn State truther when it comes to James Franklin and that bunch and the talent that they're bringing in. And we should also mention they are in the blue chip ratio for this season. Good recruiter, good team. And the point he made is that, like, Clifford doesn't get hurt last year, they probably win 10 games. And we have a completely different perspective on what Penn State's looking like going into this year. They've had a really weird bad luck situation the last couple of years in Happy Valley, and I think it's kind of clouded where the program has been, where it's going under Franklin, and how sturdy things are. He's got like 19 years left on his contract with all of his extensions when he gets poached by insert next big Power 5 job opening. But there's a reason that everybody wants James Franklin. There's a reason that there are calls made to Franklin's agent about, like, hey, how happy is he in Happy Valley? And it's because he is a really good coach, and he is someone that has a really good, I mean, the program is really, really good. So when we talk about Michigan State or even Iowa or that Purdue or who could pose the biggest threat, but it's like Joey Porter's back, Sean Clifford's back, and a healthy Sean Clifford, even with Jahan Dotson leaving, you bring in a big-time receiver transfer in with Mitchell Tinsley, who, as we both know, lit it up for the Hilltoppers last year, and Bailey Zappi in that high-octane passing offense. That this should be a good offense. It's year 2 with Mike Yurcich, who came over, longtime offensive coordinator at both Ohio State and Oklahoma State, but a lot of people remember him from Oklahoma State. And so you get year 2 for him. So it's the same system for Sean Clifford in this offense. So they get more used to that. They were able to keep Poindexter as their DC. He doesn't get the Virginia job. He stays in-house. Brent Pry goes to Virginia Tech. A lot of returning guys. I think 7 guys on offense are back. I'm okay with this. Penn State always plays Ohio State tough. That's always a trap game for Ohio State. And a lot of people have circled like Purdue being the trap game for Ohio State. But I think Penn State's going to give them a game, and I think Penn State's going to be really good this year. What do you think?
Yeah, I like that pick for sure. And just like going back and looking at their 2021 season, like you said, I don't know if you said snake bit or just bad luck, but it totally was. Like they were just a scrappy team that was winning with defense early on. Like I feel like they seem like that kind of team that's like you're kind of learning to win as the season goes along. You know, like that win against Wisconsin, like that was just a great football game, honestly, just to open up the season. And then, you know, to beat Auburn the way they did. And then you had Clifford go down versus Iowa. Like they lose to Iowa by 3, lose to Illinois. And I don't know if that was the first overtime game in college football, but that was the first one I remember watching with this new overtime rules. And it's like, what a garbage way to lose a football game with this 2-point conversion contest. Like, so like 7-6, like, do bowl games matter anymore? I don't know how many people were sitting out for the bowl game. I almost want to throw that out. So you got 7-5, 4 of those losses are by 4 points or less. Like, and you played Ohio State at Ohio State. So 4 points, 4 of the losses are by 4 points or less. And the other one is to Ohio State. So like at Ohio State as well. And they all, I think, was a 9-point loss, something like that. So I think they're definitely a team. You put Sean Clifford back in this lineup and he's healthy, I think things are completely different. I think clearly the administration at Penn State is not scared off by the last 2 years and all the bad luck they've had, because they are 100% committed to James Franklin and they put their money where their mouth is. So I don't hate that at all. I think Ohio State is just so good this year, but I mean, if you're going to find someone that can beat them and it's at Penn State, Ohio State's going to play at Penn State this year, I think that's a good pick.
Hey, we'll see. We'll see. Sean Clifford has to stay healthy, though. I think that's just imperative. Like, you got to keep him upright this year. So
I think
we shall see.
Going at Auburn early too, like that's a good measuring stick game. Like Auburn is obviously, their season is not going to be over when Penn State comes to town, right? However negative you could be as an Auburn fan, like they're going to have all the hype, all the hopes in the world week 2, week 3, whenever that is, when Penn State comes in. Like, you know, Jordan Hare is going to be absolutely rocking. So If you can get past a game like that in a hostile environment early in the year, I kind of compare it to like maybe like a Georgia going at Notre Dame in 2017. Like Notre Dame wasn't the best team in the country or anything, but it's just like an early measuring stick game that if you can get through this hostile environment, like you're not going to have many more. You're probably not going to go into another environment as loud as Jordan-Hare the rest of the season. So I think that's one that's going to be an awesome non-conference game early on. Hopefully Auburn doesn't get some garbage targeting ejections in that one.
Well, that's another thing is like that would be interesting too if like they flip it where both road teams win this home and home. That'd be wild. You don't see that very often in these power